Good morning and welcome to Carp Vault TV. You join me on Conningbrook. I got down here this morning, had a bit of a nervous session to start with. I stupidly decided to send my rods off to have a bit of custom work, the tackle tart that I am. So I've managed to borrow a set of rods to my friend. He hasn't quite got his mat rods, tips and bottoms all matched up, so I had a bit of fun and games trying to match those up this morning. Managed to get two rods perfect, and the third one's just too tight for me to use, so I'm not going to risk it. Just going to go with the two rods. I'm on the end of a new wind. It's blowing a southeasterly, the fresh wind today. I've got two rods out on the spot in excess of 100 yards. They've had a few bits of bait, bits of boilie, a little bit of my auto mix, which we might show you a little bit later on. But yeah, as I said, end of the wind. We are right at the end of the lake, up by the new houses that are being built, and it's looking good. So I'm just about to do one of my rods, and I thought before I put it back out, I'll show you the little rig that I've been using to good effect recently. And I have a nickname for it, but I can't call it the nickname. So we're going to call it the multi-hinge. So basically, you have a multi-section of doubled over recoil, all brighted to some Thinking Anglers tungsten with a Nash knot bead, and you'll see from there hopefully that it sits about ½ an inch from the bottom. It sinks, you can get it with putty, so it just sinks really slowly. I tend to use this on a helicopter system. 99% of my fishing is on helicopters. It's the go anywhere for me. Whether I'm fishing on hard bottom, I just put the bead all the way down to the bottom, or if I'm fishing on a bit of weed or a bit of detritus, then I have the bead further up. But it's a slow sinking pop-up rig. And I find that the hooking capabilities of this is absolutely phenomenal. I'm finding that they're going ½ an inch back into their mouth. You will find that when it comes to your different pop-ups, that some pop-ups will be more buoyant than others. So you might find that you have to trim down this large tungsten knot bead, or you can get the smaller ones and have a much slowly sinking. But it's done me a few bites this year, and they've always been nailed, absolute nailed. I can't stress that enough. Always using a chod style hook, and hopefully you can see from there the actual, sitting ½ an inch on the deck. So we've just been talking about the multi-hinge, so I thought I'll show you how I tie my multi-hinge up. We've got two components here. We've got Thinking Anglers recoil and Thinking Anglers tungsten. Any chod filament will be fine, and any coated stiff or semi-stiff braid will be fine. Just make sure you pull back, strip back about 4 inches or so for you to do the Albright, and enough of the recoil to actually work with. So starting off, doubling over your recoil, having about a 2.5 centimetre loop, and pinching that down to form the loop back on itself, and the braid goes through, and you're just going to do the Albright. Now I tend to pull past the actual coated bit, so when I pull the knot down, you have a 5 mil gap between the knot and the coated material. So I'm going to start going over 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back down 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then make sure you go back the way that your original braid is coming through. So back through that way, and as you start teasing this down, get yourself a little puller tool, wherever mine's gone. The old pikeys have been in my box again and they've nicked it all. So Thinking Angler scissors, next best thing. Not only are there scissors, but we've got a stripper and a puller tool. Grab the loop, my favourite bit, a little bit of moisture. It's always better when it's wet. So just pull that down, snug it all up, and there you go. So the next bit, the other thing as well you do, just to make sure it's all tight, grab your little crimping tools or anything, sort of pliers, and just give it a nice tug. Okay, so damn scissors and long grass. So I'm going to trim these off. Now, one of my pet hates is people leave it, even though it's a little bit, put it in a bin. You've got wildlife around here, you don't really want to get them all choked up and swallowing these bits and dying. So there is the start of the multi-hinge. You can see there before anything else, before we do, you can see the, just with the curve of your finger, you can see how it's going to sit on the bank. So next thing is we have now there's two ways of doing this. I prefer having a Nash hook bead, tungsten hook bead on there as my counterweight. You can use a bit of putty, you can use anything you like, there's a bit of tungsten. Should have got all this out beforehand, but oh well, such is life. Mouth. So, fade the needle through the centre, pop it on. Try not to go too far because you'll break your little splicing needle. Grab your little puller tool. Put it through. Again, moisture is your friend. It's always better when it's lubricated. And just tease it down like a nice tease. So you'll see there that I've got about a 10 centimetre gap between where the coating breaks and then the filament section there. So next bit is actually the hardest bit to actually do, and that's get a chod hook onto the doubled over section. Now I have got a little bit of a secret, and I'm going to show you that secret if I can actually find where I'll put my little secret. Damn it. So into my little hook sections. Trust me to the ones at the end, I have all different sorts of hooks for all different occasions. At the moment I'm using the ESP trig hammer chods. Absolutely savage as a hook, they really are good. Drop that hook. Now, normally I would have a bit of line, but it's in my other bag. So I'm going to treat with a bit of bait floss. You can reuse this again to anyway to put your hook your bait back on. So bait floss through the loop, back through, so the two tag ends. Like that. You grab your hook, and obviously you want to go through the eye like that, so it's when you push it down, and try not to get your hook impaled on your fingers. There we go. A little bit of a cheap way of putting your hook onto the bristle filament. Now, one other thing I do before this stage is I actually put a hook stop on the top just to help with the D section. Again, I've gone through so many hook stops trying to find the best ones in the market, and the best ones that I found that don't move are the ESP ones. Now they are quite long. You can cut these down. I don't tend to. I quite like a nice long one. Push that through, kind of opposite the barb, and then what you want is a micro ring swivel. And again, I should have had all these out beforehand, so I won't go in and out my tackle box. Oh, left hand rod, no ducks out on the spot. Ah, yes, there was a duck out on the spot. Damn it. Hook ring swivel on, and back through. There's your multi-hinge. Now, little chod it tool. Grab your chod it tool, back through, pull so you create a little loop, and pull it up. So there is your multi-hinge. Something so quick, so simple to tie. So give it a go. So I'm on the brook. It's my second session on the brook. First session managed to have a tench on my first night. Normally by this time of year I'll be on Faversham on the mill pool, but the big commons come out, so there's no point dropping on the mill. So I'm in two minds where I'm going to fish next year. So I'm going to have a bit of a recce mission on the brook, couple of swim choices to go at and decide if I want to fish here next year. It's on my doorstep, like I've said, so I'll be stupid not enough to not fish on here. I've got two rods out on the money, around about the 80 to 110 yard mark, both on the minge rigs that I showed you earlier. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we've had a couple of bleeps already today. So the wind's in our favour. I said it's pushed massively into this bay now, into the old section of the lake. So hopefully the fish or two might come along. So I'm going to talk a bit about the bait that I'm using at the moment. Well, I'll show you the mix later on, but it's a mixture of hemp, casters, boilie crumb, a few pellets, and a load of liquid. It's my kind of autumn sort of mix, and also supplement that with a good amount of boilies as well, but it's just to get them all grubbing around. There's only 40 carp in here, but I kind of want to bring everything to the party so the carp actually get interested and go, oh, what's that, what's going on over there, sort of feeling. Then they've got the boilies there to home onto. So here's the mix I was just talking about, and the way that I apply this out there because of the range is spomming. So I spom this out and then throw and stick the boilies out. As you can see, it's a nice little mix. You can see all the casters in there, all the crushed boilie, bit of hemp, bit of pellet, and a little bit of liquid just to give it a nice glaze. So just going to talk through the throw and stick that I use. It's a Garner propeller, 22 mil. It's the carbon fibre version. It's the lightest one that I found that I can use quite comfortably. I could put 5 kilos of boilie out without actually having arm fatigue. I've had friends of mine that use it, borrow it, and they absolutely love the throw and stick. So much so I think there's a couple on order in the local tackle shop that they're going to get some. So we'll just go through some of the techniques that I use. It's very similar to casting on how to use the throw and stick, but we'll go through some techniques with you. So one technique that I have is actually making sure that you've got a pocket full of boilies, or again a little boilie caddy, and make sure you've got more than enough than you need, just in case you get some that's split, etc. I find that these boilies are a little bit harder than usual, normal ones, but if it's a little bit, you can just wet the end. Don't wet the entire stick, just wet the end of it. Because of the carbon fibre, you don't want to wet the whole shaft. So what I tend to do, a bit like a cast, is you lean back and then you flick, and basically what you want to see what happens is the boilie goes up with a centrifugal force, it spins up and then comes back down on the water. See some people using the double-handed technique around it, the double-handed like that. I can't use that myself. I prefer having a nice single hand grip on the handle and giving it a nice flick. Yeah, over the years, Brook has been, it's changed an awful lot over the years since the Aussies, the Terrys of the world, the Darrell Pecks, the Lee Jacksons of the world. It's completely changed. We've still got a couple of the originals left in here. There's probably between 30 and 40 carp to go at, but there's an awful lot of building work. There's new houses, development being built. There's a few more houses. So it's completely changed over the last, obviously 30 years, over 30 years that this lake's been here. I'm in the old section of the lake. My previous section, I was in the new section, which is just behind me. And yeah, there's a couple that I want. You know, there's this Starburst is one carp that I dearly want, and a fellow Carp Vault member, Simon, had that a couple of weeks ago now. That really got me actually interested in the book, seeing that carp, seeing his vlog about it, seeing Starburst has ignited the fire in me for fishing the brook. So yeah, 30-40 carp to go at. Any carp from the brook is very welcome. Any fish from the brook is very welcome. You can, from speaking to guys, I know people that are on here that have been on 3 seasons and not had a single carp. So it's not going to be easy. It's not, you know, and that's my style of fishing. I like the hard waters where I can lose my mind, lose what little hair I've got left. Or I can just have a shave it. Got a lovely couple of geese making a lot of noise. They tend to, during the mornings and at night, you know, the geese come in and they're coming in their droves. Last night when they went to go take off, while I was having a walk around, I thought they were going to take my head off. That's how low to the ground they were. But it's a little bit of nature. So you got the houses, but you still got the nature. You got the rolling fields. You got the river behind you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to spending a bit more time on the brook, learning the lake. Like I said, you know, the surroundings have changed, but the lake bottom hasn't changed over the years. You know, the bars are still there, the lumps are still there, the clay bars are still there. It's just finding them and doing your own research, doing the time and effort that you can. If you're a weekend angler, it's a case of, you know, putting what time you can put in. If you could do midweek overnighters as well as doing a weekend, great. But if your family life says you can't, so be it. Just being out on the bank's the main thing. You can't catch them from your sofa, can you? one little product that I've been using for the last, I'd say about a year and a half now, is my little Kadak. It's not your usual sort of stove. It's an absolutely fantastic bit of equipment. It comes in several pieces, has its own gas canister, screws onto the bottom. You can take the gas canister off, fold the legs down, and it goes relatively flat. And one good thing about it is you've got little several stages to it. So you can have it just on the kettle side of things, little kettle, nice little stove. But next best thing comes along is when you're doing your breakfast is one of these little hot plates, and it also comes with a grill section as well, and you can get a nice pizza stone. So the pizzas, you can have like a nice calzone or a nice pizza when you're on the bank. It beats a pot noodle and it beats a takeaway. You can see there that this morning I've done a nice breakfast for the couple of us, and the non-stick properties are still going strong and nice and sturdy. That ain't going anywhere at all. It's absolutely fantastic. You can get, there's a couple of versions you can get. This one's obviously the screw-in gas, but you also can get the ones with the actual gas bottle canisters. Like I said, folds down flat. You get a nice wok with it. You can do a nice simple, if you're just doing a bit of cooking, eggs, bacon and stuff like that on there. Or my personal favourite for a quick overnighter is a nice cheese and chorizo sandwich, which you can do in these as well. Nice bit of butter on either side, cheese and chorizo, 2 types of cheeses if you're feeling a little bit posh, and it's a nice little snack, mid-afternoon snack. Absolutely fantastic. Like I said, you get the wok with it, you get a nice grill for it, it's constantly heating up, absolutely perfect. Right, good evening, and didn't have anything during the day as expected. Roger's still out on the spots from earlier. Going to enjoy a nice glass of whiskey, have a barbecue with some friends, and hopefully I'll see you during the evening or during the night with a fish. If not, I'll see you in the morning. Take care. Bye-bye.